Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching this video with your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And today I have the juicy, fabulous guest, Emmy Hernandez, who's going to be talking about how to find love, 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 love in the age of ultra independence and modernization and feminism. And Emmy is an executive level love and relationship coach. And she's also international speaker, workshop facilitator, and author of 8 Steps to Attracting Your Soulmate Love. So Emmy, darling, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, Dr. Jamil. So good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm so excited to get into the topic that we selected for today. It's all very juicy stuff.
Absolutely juicy, timely, needed to hear. And what I love about you, Emmy, is you give it straight, right? You're like, give it straight. What's that guy in the TV? Simon Cowell, isn't he? Simon Cowell. America's Got Talent.
Totally the Simon Cowell of the dating world.
Yeah, and people just like, well, but then when he says, oh yeah, actually it's this, and you have that special thing of saying like straight as it is. Look, because as women, as successful women, successful people, you don't want people to be pussyfooting around you, don't you? You just want to give it like straight. So Emmy, tell me about this love topic, because you came from a hardcore tacky background, entrepreneurship, and then suddenly shifting to like a very emotional, empathic subject of love. So what made the shift of moving from tacky to love?
Yeah, so that was a very powerful transition, and it was a very vulnerable one. I had many meltdowns on the way to get to where I am now. So yes, I come from the tech Silicon Valley world, and in that world, it's a dog eat dog world. It's extremely competitive. Everyone's trying to be the next quote unquote unicorn, right? Get that $1 billion valuation, and boom, everyone becomes a millionaire. So coming from that world and being a coach in that world to tech entrepreneurs, everything was about how can they get the next venture capitalist and to open up their checkbook and get that next check. So everything was about business and knowing the right people and saying the right things and being very aggressive. That area of business, that industry is very aggressive. It's not the only one. It's just one of the ones that I worked in. And it got to be very exhausting, very taxing on my body. So at the time, it felt really good, right? It was a very nice boost for my ego and significance. It's like, oh yeah, people have to pay attention to me. And I was speaking on all these stages around the world. I was speaking in Tunisia. I was speaking in Uruguay. I was speaking in Mexico. And everything was about me being on stage and people having to listen to me. So I got to figure out how to be a good coach and get people to do what I wanted, and it was to influence them. However, it was in a very aggressive way, which, by the way, I'm the eldest of 7 children, so I Miss Bossy Pants. Oh, that's like me. Like, that's what you will find in the dictionary, Bossy Pants. That was me, okay? And I was proud of it. The issue with that, however, is that it comes in handy when I'm doing business stuff in certain areas.
Correct.
In certain areas. But when you live there, when I live there as a woman, physiologically, one thing will happen. And this is by default, okay? You've heard the term burnout, yes?
Yes.
Perfect. See a lot of women going through it. I went through it as well. What happens is when we are constantly in high drive aggressiveness, we are using up our adrenaline and the little testosterone that we have in our body, and we burn out our adrenal glands that sit on top of our kidneys. Literally, our adrenal glands are much, much smaller than men's adrenal glands. We are not designed to go and like basically kill everything in front of us. Okay, we are not designed to hunt like that. In short bursts we can, but when we live there, ladies, it literally puts us in the hospital, and it is so dangerous. So I decided to stop that in that field, just because after so many meltdowns, there's only so much I could handle. There's so many nights crying in my hotel room, said something's got to change. So I took a break from that. And while I was taking that break, I did some marketing work that had nothing to do with that style of work and that level of coaching. And in the meantime, when I went on my healing journey, then I met the love of my life. And once I realized what I had done, I realized it was a process that most women don't know how to go through, because I took elements from every area of my life. And women wanted to know, how did I meet Matt? Not just what app, but like, how did I attract him? And I realized, like, other women want to know this. There are other women like me out there who are educated, who are strong, who want a strong, an amazing, successful man who's strong within himself, but still wants to love on me and wants to cuddle. And I'm like, yay, I can just let it go and not have to worry about anything, just be on the couch and cuddle together. So I created a program for those ladies, but in order for me to do that, I needed to shift into the more feminine energy for me to love on the ladies going through toxic situations, for me to be able to love on the ladies, to show them that you're not broken. It's just a programming that we've been following. So the beauty about what I get to do is that I get to combine that level of give it to you straight, as you say, the level of coaching, right? Which my executive level women respond to. My women who are used to being, you know, the leaders in the boardroom, the ones who are the lawyers, the ones who get stuff done, they are not going to respond to me being, hey, sweetie, well, have you ever thought about like not doing that? You notice you do this like a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're gonna end up coaching you if you were to do that, right? And then you're like, who's coaching who now? So
Correct.
it's a completely different turnaround. And Emmy and I working, collaborating on a book, Women Who Lead. And in that chapter, Emmy tells, you know, all the women in that chapter cries. We all face like burnout, breakdown, like each and every single one of them. And it really can be vulnerable and shameful, right? As you know, when you're upfront, you're the leader, you're an influencer. Oh my God, she cried. Yes, I'm human. Like, and then like Emmy was saying that there was a point when she burned out and like I'm assuming you knew the trigger of you leading to that burnout, right? But somehow it kind of like, oh, I just got to do a little bit more. I just got to do a little bit more. And how did kind of like that kind of like, what were the signs, Emmy, so that we don't get to that crash and burn? But what were the signs? Because then we had to take time off, do some healing. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to come back from the burnout. So can you share with us a little bit of the sign before you get to the crash and burn? I felt that's a movie, Crash and Burn or something with Van Diesel, but I don't know. But the sign so that we can just, oh, this is it. I need to shift things.
Yes. And you know, this is where it gets tricky and funny, because I feel like for a lot of us, the signs are, oh shoot, it's already too late. And not too late as in like you can't come back from it, but it's for those of us who are type A overachievers, we kind of go. I know, I get it. We kind of go until there's something like woo, like glaring in our face.
Truck.
Yes, like it has to be so obvious. For me, and a lot of the women that I talk to, it's that moment of full release meltdown crying. And I think that's the moment where we realize, oh shoot, we can't control this. Okay. And then we sort of step back into what can I control? For me, it was 3 days straight of waking up in my hotel room in yet another country. I traveled so much when I was doing this, I didn't even know where I was. Sometimes I would wake up like kind of in a panic, like, what country am I in? Where am I? And at first it sounded sexy and exciting, but after a while it just felt like a job. And what happened was, this is actually pretty scary, because for 3 mornings straight, Dr. Jamil, I was waking up to my pillow full of my own tears. I was crying in my sleep because I was too stubborn to do it awake. How sad is that?
Mm-hmm.
I was crying in my sleep, and it took me 3 days to figure out what was happening. I was waking up to this pool of tears. And I realized that my soul was crying. She was telling me, stop, because I was being so aggressive. And when we're in that aggressive nature, ladies, our health deteriorates. We gain weight. There's acne in our face. There's very slow digestive system. I was just not good health-wise at all, and I was starting to lose the healthy relationships I had with my girlfriends, with my family. So those, I would say, those are some of the signs where you're noticing like something is off in your body. And when you're having these either a recurring dream, like if I would have woken up, I'll be honest with you, if I had woken up just one time like that with like tears, I'd be like, oh, whatever, something weird, or you know, my eye ducts did something weird at night. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought of it as crying. But when you see something that's recurring, you know in your heart, your intuition is telling you something is wrong, and you might not know what that something is, but I recommend you journal and really go deep and do some meditation work around what's actually happening and why does your soul, okay? Your soul will be trying to tell you something. Listen to that intuition.
Absolutely. And this intuition as a woman, like any woman have it. And it's the same intuition with life, in family, in business, and me as a mom, you know, it's that intuition that we just like, oh, like ignore it, but it's actually the one, our compass in guiding us in the right direction. So, Emmy, you talked about this shifting from masculine to feminine energy. Why do we need to shift? Like, can't I just be like who I am, like here with the guy? You know, I get results done. You know, like he wants a cuddle, like come a cuddle. Like, you know, like why do you need to have that shift? Because this is like the missing link, isn't it? Between successful women and attracting the kind of love that they, because they're so successful, brilliant at what they do, but then why is it not kind of like, can I take the same model, the Tesla model, and apply it to the Ferrari model? Like, why doesn't it work?
I love that question because a lot of women sometimes misinterpret what I'm saying, and they think that I'm trying to tell them they have to be different people with whoever they like. They have to be different people when they're at work versus when they're dating. And I'm not telling you to be a different person. No, not at all. I'm asking you to highlight a different element of who you are. Just like when you go to yoga, you won't show up to yoga in a gorgeous dress that you would wear to a gala or to a wedding, and vice versa. You won't show up in your Lululemon pants and your yoga mat to the Met Gala, right? So I call it the outfit for the occasion, right? So there's the same thing mentally and emotionally. What outfit are you choosing to wear and step into when you're going onto a romantic date? Why? It's important for you to show up as your playful, fun self, and not the version of you that is going to be reading off your resume. I see this happen all the time. They think it's a job interview. No, dating is not a job interview, okay? It is very different. And I'll tell you why. Because you might be thinking, well, Emmy, but I want to be a power couple with my partner. So therefore, we need to start off with your resumes and your accomplishments. Okay, have fun, babe. You've already had that and you've already done it. Here's the thing. Your soul, remember we keep talking about soul and your intuition here, you're not going to be fulfilled in your heart space. You might be fulfilled intellectually, but you might not have the sexual passion that you want with your partner, and you might not have the nurturing that you want with someone, because at the end of the day, ladies, we all want to be loved and be told that we're beautiful. Yes, and yes, you are, by the way, gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous you. We need that. And our men and our partners need to be needed, and so do we. We want to feel valued and appreciated, and to hear that on a daily basis. It's in the little things that count. I went to bed the other day and I forgot to bring water with me, and I usually like to drink water in the morning, but I was so tired, and I woke up and there was water on my nightstand, and I was a little confused, and I was like, oh, my husband brought me water in the middle of the night because he noticed it was missing. Oh my God, those little things, right? He does big things for me as well, but the little things that show us that we are, hear me now, this is a very special word, cherished. You can't cherish each other. This is not a one-way street.
Yeah.
Cherishing involves vulnerability. And we cannot be vulnerable and step in that true love or you can have giggles and just have fun and be naked in bed for hours on end if you feel like it, for a whole weekend. Okay. That level of energy requires us to step into something that is completely different from the resume. Yes, the resume is good, and I'm so proud of you, my darling, for all of your amazing accomplishments.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of me too. But I wear that outfit for that occasion or in that event, and I wear different emotional outfits when I'm with my partner.
Absolutely, and that's absolutely beautiful, like there is that. Because I remember my husband told me once, he loves being the provider of the family. He loves being, that kind of person. He just loves it. So, as independent women, that's okay, babe. I'll take care of it. I'll do this. But because that's what he loves, that makes him proud. That makes him, So I'm like, okay, babe, like, you take care of this, no problem. Like the other day, because my kids love pancakes in the morning, so I would always mix the pancake itself. They just want mommy's pancake. So, and I had this huge bowl that I use. And then the other day, my husband came, hey, I got you this little one so that you don't have to mix the pancake on such a big bowl. So it's the little things that I'm like, oh, I don't like shopping. So I don't have to go out and buy that for myself. It's the thing that a shift. I still cook, I still pack lunch for my husband. Like I don't have to do that. He can do it himself. But it's the little things, isn't it, Emmy, that tone it down, allowing ourselves to be loved, to be taken care of, to be cherished. And you mentioned something about the dating world, right? Because I'm from a different culture, it's totally new to me. So, talk about some of the things like a tips or a guideline that the ladies know coming out from the resume now, like coming out of the resume, you found someone. Talk about like the first date tip. What are the things that women needs to look for to know whether it's healthy? I know it's hard to judge, but just give like a couple of ideas so that women have like a baseline and to know, oh yeah, that is something that is healthy and I want to pursue, or it isn't.
For sure. And I'm actually gonna backtrack here just a tiny bit before the first date, because this part is critical. This is the part that a lot of people think is not important, but it's so important. So first, building out your profile. The intention behind it is very important. And
you mean on the dating
correct
world? Right. Okay.
Dating profile, correct. So no matter what dating profile you decide, and even if you don't want to do anything online, the intention of when you go out and say you meet someone in person on a date, okay? The intention has to be that you're going in with curiosity. Okay? You're just exploring, you're having fun. So this is where, even when you're putting pictures up and when you're putting captions on Bumble, Match, Hinge, Tinder, whatever it is, for you to be playful. Okay? Why is this critical? If you are looking for healthy love, healthy epic love that could lead one day to marriage, you never want to show up putting things on there like your resume or things that you hate. I see this all the time where women are on there complaining about something they hate, or what are all the things they don't put the things you don't want. You're coming across as someone who's complaining. Remember, this is not a job interview. You're not writing, do not write your deal breakers on there. basically write your deal makers, right? What are the things that excite you? What are the things that you think are quirky about you that you really wouldn't want to share, but are really fantastic about you? For me, I'll give you an example of one of the ones that was for me. I used to love Minions, those little yellow guys, that came out and just
The one eye kind of thing.
yes, those guys. I had them everywhere. I had little plush toys, and because people knew I liked them, I had a collection of different ones around. Not in a weird way where I had like a full room and hoarding them, but you know what? If you have a full room of them, your guy loves that. Okay, so the things that we think are too quirky for us to share, that nobody will love about us, are precisely the things that I want you to share and to be proud of that, because those are the little things that make you vulnerable and things that make you stand out in a playful way to a potential partner. Okay, so that's setting up the profile.
Mm-hmm.
When you are on a first date, so here, let's talk about some green flags, right? Yeah, I call it with my ladies,
the
green
green,
flags and
yellow, red. Yeah.
right? So the red flags are the easiest ones to talk about first. So red flags, and this is one of the ones that, Dr. Jamil, you and I have talked about this before. It seems like so obvious, so common sense. I have come to believe that there's no such thing as common sense, because there's no such thing as common. Every single person on the planet has a different perspective of what the world is. So there's no such thing as common. So I don't even say that anymore. So rule number one, ladies, I don't care how hot you think the guy is in his profile. I don't care how amazing the conversation went on the app. Never, ever, 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 ever go to a man's home or a potential partner's home for the very first date. In fact, I don't recommend it until like 3 or 4 dates in. That part is a little bit not as dangerous, but the very first one, it's a safety thing. You always want to be in a public, neutral space where there will be other people. And by the way, here's another quick tip. This is an advanced tip. I'm going to give you a free tip here. The advanced tip is, don't ever go on a date. And this isn't a safety one. It's just sort of like a sanity one, for a full dinner. Because if you don't like the person within 5 minutes, now you're stuck for an hour, hour and a half. Right? So I recommend, if you are going to meet in person, request to go out for tea, a cupcake, a slice of pizza, a boba. Look for places, and you can recommend a place to meet up for these individual items. It makes it for a much more relaxing environment. Plus, you're not worried about like, oh, well, it's spent so much money and I don't like them, so now I feel guilty, so now I want to pay for dinner and let's just split it. Right. All that thing just gets too complicated. Okay, so that's a little advanced tip there. Let me tell you the red flag. So some of the things to be looking out for is, in his conversations with you, is his version of flirting, and be very mindful of this, that you're not doing it as well, is to make sure that he's not trying to compete with you. What do I mean by that? You might say that you like to cycle around town, and that you let's say that you competed for cycling or for running or whatever. Yeah. And instead of him saying, oh, wow, that's great, I do that as well, which ones have you done? Right. So that's a green flag of like, oh, like, congratulations. Like, I'm proud of, like, awesome. A red flag would be, oh, that's all you've done? I've already done X, Y, and Z. Or I bet I can kick your butt at this next race. So I'm warning you about this. Here's why. Because the alpha woman in you, you're going in like, oh, yeah, you betcha? Okay, you're on, right? It seems like a sexy way of sort of like trying to like go on a date. I'm warning you right here and right now. That is very unhealthy energy. That is very unhealthy for him to want to compete. He hasn't even met you yet. Or let's say this happens in person. This is a red flag, because this behavior will never stop. And you will have to feel need to compete constantly. And that is very toxic. You don't want to ever have to compete with your partner. It's you and your partner against the world, not you against your partner. This is why people tell me, I don't know why we fight all the time. And I always laugh, because it's like, you started that way. that
Yeah.
flirty competition that you started, of course you're gonna fight, and because that's your entire relationship is based on competing. Aren't you exhausted? And they look at each other like, oh my god, yeah, we never noticed. It starts with the little things, but then it gets to the huge things. So be very careful in how you flirt and how you see others trying to flirt with you. Never try to compete. It will turn into something bad.
Brilliant. And you talk a lot about attracting the healthy love. Now, attracting sounds a little bit woo-woo, Emmy. You know, it's like attraction, like it's like a witch flower. What is attracting? Why can't just I meet? Because as a conversation with women attracting, I mean, you and I, because we've met each other, we know, like, we know the words and everything, but attract is that what is kind of this? And I feel that I think I've shared with you, it's quantum physics, isn't it? And that's why you kind of like from the beginning, even from the profile, even before the profile, even before you set up the profile, you're setting up the right intention, the right energy, the right container, being playful, being curious, being fun, being excited, the part of you that's not seen in the bedroom. Sorry, boardroom. Okay, darling. So you don't see you being flirty and sexy and fun in the meeting room. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure I say the right room, in the meeting room.
The right.
Uh, and and I love the part that you say it's just a part of you that is not seen. You might go on karaoke and just blast off Lady Gaga song at the wrong pitch, and that's absolutely fun. So Emmy talked about attraction and setting up the right container, the right energy, and it's not as woo-woo as everybody thinks. Look, I would rather have a healthy, happy love than being called woo-woo than miserable. So talk
Yeah.
about the attracting, the intention, just so that the ladies can start to put in the right energy, but plant the right seed in the container before we wrap up.
Absolutely, yes. So I will be the first one to tell you I am a proud woo-woo. Proud educated woo-woo. Okay, but I come from a very scientific analytical background. I did not start off that way. I like to marry science and woo-woo, which is why my clients get incredible results, because I put data points together for them, and their brain is appeased, their ego is appeased. They're like, okay, she told us the science, and then we're going to go into the heart space, right? Because we're not just the brain, right? We're the mind, body, soul. We're a little bit of everything. Okay. So depending on your spiritual beliefs, it doesn't even really matter where you are, because whatever you believe is right for you. So you're 100% right exactly where you are with your faith. Ever change that for anybody, my dear.
Absolutely.
So that is an important value for you to have and to keep, and never try to change that for anyone else. So let's go into what does it mean to attract, as you say, versus just meet, right? So for me, meeting someone that you have fun with, that is irrelevant. That's an easy thing to do. It's not just about meeting, it's about being with someone that you actually see yourself with for the rest of your life. Like if you're seeking monogamous love, then pay attention to what I'm going to tell you next. If that's not something that's of interest to you, then bye. Nice knowing you. Please don't listen to the rest of this, because then you'll know all the secrets for monogamy and true love. Okay?
It's so boring, right? Monogamy and true love. It's just so boring.
Right? It's not of interest to some people, and I respect that, right? So, but this is what I wanted, so that's what I teach. But think of it as from a scientific principle, okay? Polarity. If you take a magnet and you bring another magnet towards it, we've all played with magnets before. If you push the same side magnet, let's say the plus minus, to that side of the magnet, what will happen? It will repel it, right? It'll push away. It won't ever even touch. Okay. So instead of trying to argue with a magnet and trying to coerce it into like, come on, magnet, please, 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 which is what a lot of people do in dating. They try to push the wrong people, right? Like just force it. Just flip it around. What is that polarity? Okay. So it just naturally sticks, right? So that's what I teach my clients from a scientific principle. I use that method. That's just science, okay? We're not arguing with magnets here. I use those same principles and turn that into a rewiring in the brain. Okay. So I'm certified in special modality where I help my clients rewire themselves instead of trying to force, and repel. They naturally meet the right people, just attract, who are magnets to who they are. Because this is not about changing who you are. It's about finding that right, easy fit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my lovely, relationships with a healthy person, they're not difficult. They're not hard. They really are super fun and super easy. And I know that if you haven't experienced that before and the people have told you like relationships are hard work, no, they're not. They're hard work when you're with the wrong person and you don't know the right techniques to speak from a place of love. Okay. So everything that I teach is on the principle of finding and meeting and attracting the right person first. And then everything else is easy peasy. Does that mean that you're not going to ever have disagreements? Of course not. If you don't, I'd be worried, because that means that you're lying to yourself about who you actually are. You're going to be with another person. You're meant to disagree, but it doesn't have to be a fight. Fights are optional. Disagreements you must have because you're simply stating your own opinion, but that doesn't mean that there has to be this long, drawn out, week long of silence. Those are the old days of petty ways of communicating. And we have much better ways of communicating now. So that's what I love to teach my clients.
And that is beautiful. And now you know it's the intention, how you set it in the beginning. Because I remember I think when I was 16 years old, like I went to Mecca, which is a holy place, with my grandma and my two uncles. And I remember standing in front of the Kaaba, standing in the place where Solomon stood, and I prayed and prayed and prayed for so many different things. And one of them is to give me, a great husband, someone who's loving. And then I was 16 then, but I knew it was one of important things in my life. Just like Justin Bieber in his interview said that one of the things important in his life is marriage. And a few years after that, God granted me my husband, and I've been with him with almost half of my life. So don't calculate my age, darling. Okay, I will always forever be 21. So let's do that. But it's setting up the right container. So Emmy, what's one key action that we've set up the right container? We know how to set in the beginning. We know how to set up the profile, which is absolutely fascinating to me, and how to the things that we need to look for on the first date. So what's one action or one step any woman can take as they take the courageous, loving, chilled out, fun side of the step in attracting the healthy, happy love?
Yes. So this is one of my favorite action steps. It's one of the ones that I personally use to bring in one of many. But one of the things that is very important is to bring in the future energy into the now. What do I mean by that? You feel what you want now as if it's already with you. So a great way to do that is to go buy, hear me now, an anniversary card, a wedding anniversary card. Put a date on there, whatever date you feel. And I want you to write a letter. Sign it with your name. You're going to sign this for your husband, for the love of your life. Share what you've experienced in that 1 year, 5 year, 10-year anniversary, whatever you feel called to buy at the store. Okay. It's important that it's an anniversary card. Why? Because you're setting that future intention for now, just like any other goals that we set in our business. Yes. Why are we not taught to set these goals in our love life? So I recommend you go do that. It will just bring you so much peace and serenity, and keep it. Seal the envelope and keep it with you. And one day, just like I got to do, you will actually be able to give that same card to your husband. And I guarantee you it will be one of the most beautiful days of your life. But we have to do that now. We have to live in that intention now. So go do that as soon as you can. I recommend go get an anniversary card and write in it, my darling, and write in the present tense, and just have fun with it. That's the number one rule. Have fun.
Absolutely. What a beautiful, beautiful like action step, easily doable. Don't overthink it, darlings. Okay. I know like it sounds scary. You're gonna be overthinking it. What if this? What if that? Just go and do it. Okay. What have you got to lose? A few dollars, right? To invest in the card. So thank you so much, Emmy, for today. And if anybody wants to hang out with you or find out about you, where is the best place that they can connect with you?
Yes, the best and easiest way so that my team can send me everything, so I make sure I don't miss your message because we're super busy on social media, is find me on my website, dualityofathena.com. There's a contact form there, and my team will let me know that you're trying to get a hold of me, and let them know what you want to talk to me about. I do have a very busy schedule, as you can imagine. We are in the middle of launching a book. We have a podcast. We're in the middle of launching another masterclass, starting pilot series for my new TV show in a few weeks. So we have a very busy schedule, and I do have a wait list for my one-on-ones, but I have a group program that the ladies can sign up for and find all about that on the website on dualityofathena.com, and look forward to hearing from you.
Fabulous. Dualityofathena.com, darlings. And Emmy, what a fun conversation. I'm just like, I've seen your journey. We got connected, I think last year. I've seen your journey. So, congratulations on your wedding. Congratulations on helping women and the bold, courageous, loving move that you made to help women have a healthy, happy love. So thank you so much, Emmy and darlings. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until your next episode, this is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil, and tell yourself, yes, I can. And so it is done. Bye, darling. Say bye, Emmy. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.